Welcome, everyone, and thank you for attending our event today, Mobility Solutions for Government. I'm Dran Dixon, the Program Manager for GSA's Wireless Mobility Solutions. Today's webinar is the second in a series of educational events featuring our small business contract holders. We are offering the same opportunity to all small businesses on the SIN 517312 and plan to host additional webinars in the near future. We're very happy to have with us today Newbridge Wireless and Real Mobile. Helping out with the event logistics today is Kelly Adams and Chris Robinson. Before we get started, here are a few housekeeping items to help enhance your experience. This webinar session is being recorded and will be made available for future use. All attendees have been muted to improve the experience for everyone. To ask a question at any time, please use the Q&A pod. We have closed captions available for anyone that may need that assistance. We're here today to talk about several subjects. How to enhance cellular services for users within a building, improve coverage, and increase capability. How in-building DAS solutions can be used for wireless public safety systems to enhance reliable and clear communications. The versatility of multi-carrier SIM solutions, which can provide access to more than one carrier on a single device. To help us meet today's objective, we will be hearing from Michael Zan and from Newbridge and Wireless, and Robert Barrera from Real Mobile. Our goal today is to make sure you leave with a clear understanding of what these services are and how they can benefit your agency. We know your agencies are focused on meeting your missions, and we are focused on helping you do that. Let's take a look at the agenda. Our first speaker today is Michael Zan. A little bit about Michael. Michael Zan is CEO of Newbridge Wireless, LLC. He has over 25 years of experience in wireless communications industry and has focused on in-building wireless for the past 20 years. Michael works closely with the wireless carrier and multi-front, including management, finance, regulatory, and engineering. Michael holds a BS of engineering degree from Wuhan University and a master's degree in electrical engineering degree from University of Texas. Michael, over to you.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, want to thank Dran, Kelly, and team for planning and organizing this event. Secondly, we appreciate all of the attendees for joining us today. I personally hope that you will find the content from the webinar sessions informative and helpful. So let's get started. And if you have any questions during this brief presentation, please feel free to type your question in a Q&A window at the bottom of your Zoom screen. All right, so today I'll be discussing Newbridge and our solution in how to improve cellular services as well as emergency radio services. These mostly are for campus or in-building environment. So Newbridge Wireless was founded in 2004. I don't know how many of you still remember those days, about 20 years ago, when mobile technology was evolving from 1G to 2G. And back then there was a mobile operator also called a VoiceStream. So those are the days when we all have our cell phone plans by the minute. Little bit luxury plans will have 1,000 anytime minute and free unlimited weekend evenings, and those are the days. And today we are now into 5G and 6G. So that's when Newbridge was established 20 years ago. Now we've grown into a nationwide presence, and you can learn more about our company on our website. And I wanted to point it out that over the years, we've been serving numerous clients and federal government and state governments on the top of our client list, and we prioritize federal and state governments. So, our service are coming from the challenges as we've seen in the past 20 years. So I'm going to start with the challenges in the bottom of the screen here. Over the years, what we heard from end users and building owners and building engineers is that inside the buildings, be it government buildings, event centers, office buildings, hospitals, and the common complaints include weak signals, some dead coverage spot. And in recent years, and users often run into scenarios where you can have like 4 bars, full bar or 5 bar, but you can't send a text. That's because in post the 3G and the 4G world, we are relying on what we call voice over LTE, which is strictly data. So data has a capacity constraint. When there's 50, 100,000 people gathering at an arena, cell phone signal might be perfect, but there's no capacity. You can't send a text. You can't, not, let alone sharing a picture or a video. And also there are times you have crosstalks, you have poor voice qualities resulting from interferences and other, radio wave propagation issues. So in all of this, our service is focused on helping end users, venue owners, agencies, organizations to provide a what we call the carrier grade quality of service for mobile users. So the new trend is now even more so when we have so many digital media, so many users. We have US has about 330 to 350 million population. The number of cell phone subscriber totaling among the 3 to 4 carriers. When there are 4, there's a couple more regional operators, actually exceeds the total population. That just means that the mobile user has been growing and increasing over the years, and to the extent that everyone at least have one cell phone. Even the population statistics show children under certain age don't have cell phones. That means some of the grown-ups have multiple phones. So the capacity is a real challenge, and that's what we are facing as well. So it's not surprising. Our, as a mobile end user, our expectation is, your expectation is, wherever and whenever you need cell phone to be useful, you expect to have a reliable connectivity. And how we get there, how we get those services. Mobile operators have been intensifying their macro, cell towers and rooftops and small cells. And Newbridge and some of our colleagues in industry are doing something else that some sort of supplemental to what they're doing, that we're doing in building. That's some of the things that carriers are not doing enough of it. So, and one of the most popular or most prevalent technology is distributed antenna systems. So what I'm going to touch on that first, and that distributed antenna systems, short for DAS, and a lot of people, I'm sure, have heard about DAS, but some of you I'm not really familiar. So we're going to get to that. So if you Google DAS, and there is a technical definition. It's called a network of spatially separated antenna nodes that provides wireless signal coverage and capacity within a specific area and specific space. It's very vague, not very, doesn't have a image to it. So I'm sharing you with a very typical DAS design. We call it a diagram here, so this is very typical. And over the past 20 years, Newbridge's teams have implemented literally thousands of these coast to coast in many spaces. And this one I'm taking as a Class A office. That's very typical. You have a MDF room on the bottom, on the basement, bottom floor. And you also have this stacked riser closet in the middle that runs from basement all the way to the top floor, to the penthouse. A distributed antenna system typically will have what we call the head end in the MDF closet. Sometimes it's called a demarcation. They share the space. In that area, in the basement, basically all carrier signals are aggregated and then converted into light signal. And then that's the name distributed systems comes to play. Those signal are aggregated. So all three carriers services across multiple bands and multiple technologies integrated, aggregated into a single pair of single mode fiber. And you can see those single mode fiber goes to each and every floor's IDF closet, and where DAS remote reside. And those pairs of single mode fiber distribute exactly the homogeneous same type of signal that's in the light form. And then those DAS remotes then convert them into electrical and then distribute it through the DAS antennas. Most of these DAS antennas are ceiling mount. It's the size of a smoke detector, and very much stealth. And if you don't pay attention, you won't notice they're even there. And feeding those antennas are those coaxial cable, that high frequency half-inch coaxial cable that put above the ceiling. You won't see them either. So this is very much, a very literally tens of thousands of systems have been deployed in numerous buildings across country. Any questions? So far, so good.
Yep, I'm not seeing any questions in the Q&A pod right now, but just to remind everyone on the call, if you would like to ask a question at any time, please do just use that Q&A pod and we'll see your question. Thank you.
So in the next slide, we'll be talking about taking a bit closer look. This is a very much conceptual still. This is we call it plumbing diagram. So if you take a closer look, this is, it's the same example. We're taking the lobby level from the previous design. And you can see those antennas strategically placed into different areas of this floor. I can carry six, 7 antennas. So it's very, very similar to, Wi-Fi deployment, wireless LAN. You just strategically place those antennas nodes in different areas of the building, and so that you can achieve the optimal coverage result. And on the bottom right-hand side, there's this, what do we call it, propagation modeling, or in a layman's term, we call it heat map. And the hotter, the better, but you also need to consider, the economics of it. 6 antennas, in this case, is more than adequate. If we place less than 6, some corners will not have adequate coverage. It'll become blue or even black. That means the coverage is no good. But if you place too many of them, it'll be a little bit more expensive. Then you will see all orange, red, or even purple. So that's over design. So this is what our engineering team using specialized tool to come up with a optimal design, and in consideration of all carrier requirements and the modern cell phone technologies, 4G and 5G requirements. So that's what the design will look like. We have a question here. Anonymous attendee: for the DAS, does one have to worry about generations, etc., last done in 2015 versus 2024, 2025 now? Or does one have to worry about carriers unique to one or many? Great question. Well, in 2015, it was the service, all carriers provides, we called 3G. And the mobile technology is called the EVDO. And those are all outdated, meaning that carriers, all carriers, AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, and some regional carriers, Shentel, Cellular, US Cellular, and now we have an emerging nationwide carrier, Dish Network. They all discontinued, cut off the 3G services. So if you have an old DAS that's deployed 10 years ago or older, and those are what we call end of life and need to be upgraded to be able to use the newest 4G, 5G services. Now, as far as the question touched upon another aspect of it, that is, do we need to worry about carriers? Well, that's the unique thing about DAS, distributed antenna system. If you go back to one slide, to the previous one, on the DAS head end, and the next one, yeah, here, there you go. So I don't know if we can zoom in here, but the idea of the bottom DAS head end is that if you zoom in, you will see many carriers, meaning that DAS in itself is an open technology. It encompasses, is able to transmit all bands that is FCC licensed and carrier auctioned, and it doesn't discriminate any technology, any carrier. This DAS we're showing here, this fiber, that single mode fiber that distributed through the stacked riser space, will be able to transmit 600 megahertz, 700 megahertz, all the way to 3 gigahertz C-band, and we're talking about the new 5G technology and the millimeter wave. So this DAS infrastructure is technology and carrier agnostic. It doesn't discriminate, and that's the beauty of it. If you have a latest technology, all carriers can send their service through the common infrastructure. You only need to deploy it once, and all carriers will be able to ride on it. So now we want to, that's a great question that allow me to, alluded to what we do here in Newbridge. When we deploy DAS, there's certain considerations we put into that coming from our 20 years of history and experience across multiple industries and verticals. When we design DAS, we work with water service provider, water carriers, and we are very closely engaging with carriers, evolving technical requirements and capacity requirements. So we don't design a system that only going to be for one carrier or only for today. We design carriers for all technologies, all carriers, and different generations, 4G and 5G. So what do we call that? Carrier neutral, but also technology agnostic. And our teams, when we plan a mobile network for indoor usage, we take into a lot of factors, interference, and future-proof and backwards, compatible. If someone is asking for 5G services only, but our service will provide 4G as well. So those are, for cellular, and don't see any questions. So I'm going to move on to a quick note on the emergency responder radio coverage system. It's a new fire code requirement. And some of you might have heard of it, some of you have not. But if your building is not in compliance, fire marshal will come knocking. And that's what we do. And this can be done on the common fiber infrastructure. So when you are deploying cellular, it might be a good idea to consider, doing the ERRC system at the same time, and vice versa. So I don't want to spend too much time on this one. And if you Google IFC section 510, you will read all about it. So also want to touch on, oftentimes when we are called to assess DAS, DAS needs and cell phone requirements, and the cost is always a barrier, and it's rather expensive, and oftentimes we were told that we don't have budget. We need it, but we don't have budget. So we come up with we partner with a investor, and we are able to roll out, infrastructure DAS as a service. And I'm sure you guys are very familiar with it. In the software world and technology world, there are a lot of as a service models, and DAS as a service is a very much on the rise. And we've seen many clients welcoming this service model. If you don't have any questions, I want to continue to a little bit more interesting stuff. These are just, giving you a little bit of a starter, and you can read more about these on our website by Googling keywords. And I'm not going to bore you with more content here.
Michael, are you ready to do the poll that you have?
Oh yeah, well, I noticed that there is a question was asked, but I want to just remind you, that this poll question, from scale 1 to 5, how do you rate your cellular cell phone connectivity in your office building?
All right, Chris is going to share that poll if folks are seeing it.
I see a polling question, and number 3, how would you rate the cellular connectivity in your office building? and we see that 2 out of 12 excellent, good, 5 out of 12 fair, 1 and then 2 and then poor, 1 and they're unsure. You have not checked it. Well, next time when you're in the building, check it and ask around and see if cell phone services is adequate. Now more people are polling great. There's also some mobile apps that allow you to test download and upload speed. So when you are connecting with your cell phone carrier, you can download a free app and check the download and downlink and uplink speed. All right, thank you very much for participating in the poll. Those information very helpful. So I'm going to give you a quick, 2 examples that we talk about. We deployed thousands of these in various environments, and this one is a campus, very simple. It's in Iowa. It's the USDA's research center, National Research Center for Animal Health. It has a biosafety level 2 and biosafety level 3 laboratories, and also across the campus has 8 buildings over 1 million square feet. And this is Newbridge deployed this under a DaaS as a service model with I think it's USDA, and then we've been there for 4 years. So we have been continue operating it and under that, and then we own the system, we upgrade them, we maintain them, we monitor them, and then we take on all communication and coordination with wireless carriers. Next one, please. Oh, by the way, before you move on, I'm sorry, go back. And this one, that one in USDA also not only have all wireless carriers, AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, US Cellular, but also has a fire safety emergency radio, ERRC. The red box on the top right, the smaller picture, the tile picture, is dedicated for first responders. So it's running on this same fiber infrastructure. And then the next one is a FDA campus. They call it NCTR campus in Arkansas. And this is even more complicated building, campus with 28 buildings. And this has to be done within 3 zones or 3 sectors. And we built this in 2021, I believe, or 2022, finished in 2022. Just give you guys a little visual. We have a rather large portfolio of federal customers that we served in the past 20 years. So that would conclude my presentation, and I thank you very much for your time. If you have more questions, feel free to type it in.
Okay, thank you, Michael. Appreciate the very informative presentation. You have a lot there to pack into a small box, and we're very, very appreciative that you are able here to share what you have today. The results of the last poll that you launched, Michael, I believe good, generally reliable, with occasional slowdown was the heavy winner for that poll that you launched. So I just wanted to make sure we follow up on that. Again, as Michael stated, if you have any kind of questions for him whatsoever, you can continue to place them in the Q&A pod, or his slides will be made available to all attendees after this event, and you will be able to reach out to him based on the information he's providing to contact him through. So again, thank you, Michael. Appreciate it. Okay, next up, we have Robert Barrera. A little bit about Robert. Robert is a seasoned entrepreneur with a focus on telecom services. His latest venture, Real Mobile, established in 2011, offers a wide range of wireless and voice over IP solutions. including international calling using eSIM, cloud-based PBX, and 5G fixed wireless. Real Mobile has a strong track record of serving both businesses and government entities and is available on multiple award schedules. Robert, the floor is yours.
Good morning and welcome, wireless managers. Oops, there's more little. Real Mobile is a small certified minority company. I am Cuban from the first wave in 1960, as a trivia question there. We are a DBE, ACDBE, and SBE firm. I want to present, if you could go to the next slide, please. I want to present an option for you for wireless connectivity for your customer base. We offer, okay, let's see here. We offer as a base a voice over IP, cloud-hosted voice over IP PBX system, which, if you're not familiar or are familiar, it's a corporate type phone system with could have auto attendant, has call transfers, music on hold messages, and of course international calling. We offer then the ability for, of course, domestic and international calling. It would be directly from your smartphone, iPhone, or Android. Dial direct, obviously in the United States, just the area code and the phone number. International 011, the country code, and off you go. We can also offer it as a dial-in for like an access number. So you could have a local access number, a 404 and a number, or an 800 number. The caller calls in. It could be pinless, which we recommend, which gives you two things. First of all, convenience for the caller, so there's no more numbers to dial except when the IVR, the interactive voice response, answers, it says, please dial your number, and they just go and dial their international number. And also it has a level of security that whoever you want to access that is already registered on the system. So if the system does not recognize the inbound phone number, it asks for a PIN, and of course the person doesn't have it. We mate this service, which connects to our voice over IP platform, with a multi-carrier SIM. The multi-carrier SIM is internet only, and it connects to over 880 carriers worldwide. That's more than 250 countries. In the United States alone, that would be, for example, AT&T, T-Mobile, US Cellular, Verizon, Alaska Wireless, Northeast Colorado, and a series of rural carriers. The SIM card or your phone is going to reach out and connect to the strongest carrier. Since it's voice over IP, it's internet based, which means that, by the way, it will work with Wi-Fi as well. We will offer you a hard SIM, which is a tri-part SIM, or eSIM. eSIM is a digital number. We send you like a QR code. You point your phone to it, and it installs the SIM. Obviously, they can happen anywhere in the world. When you arrive at any covered destination, which is most of the world, for example, you go from the United States to London or Belgium or Bangladesh, the SIM will reach out and connect to the strongest carrier in that area. In most areas, there'll be multiple carriers. So it could happen that you're connected to, let's say in the United States, you're connected to AT&T, and you go into a soft spot or a dead spot for AT&T. As you know, all carriers have them someplace, and the SIM will just reach out and connect to T-Mobile or Verizon. That could happen within your building as well. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so it's a very simple installation. You can install the tri-part SIM, or again, download the eSIM that we would provide. The carrier will then, the SIM will then connect to the strongest carrier wherever you are worldwide. It will be 3G. There is no 3G in this country, but there is offshore. 4G, LTE, 5G, or Wi-Fi. No, go back if you could, please. Go back a second. I wasn't finished on that. So you download a dialer, which we will get into in a moment, and you can, oh, I didn't realize I had the port. Okay. Or you can port in your existing number or get a brand new number. This presentation will be sent to you. You can check our rates internationally for calling and our data rates. So in summary, at this point, the service is in two parts. You have the app, which connects to our voice over IP, and you have the SIM card, which connects to the internet. Okay, next slide, please. So to look at the app, you have a dialer that looks very similar to your own dialer. It has multi-functions. It connects to your own contact list. It has notifications that you have a voicemail, and here you have another notification that you have a missed call here. If you have, this is for the text messaging, which the screen looks like this, right? And if you have a missed text message, you would have a little red dot here. You have the plus sign here, which allows you to connect to our services, including contact us directly, or check what's the rate of per minute to call London, or for example, or Iran. No, you don't want to call Iran. If you once the call is made and there's an open circuit, then the screen changes to this. So you have a function of a business grade phone. So you can put it on hold. You can transfer the call. You can conference, add callers in. You can do an attended transfer. So you do a transfer, but you stay on the phone. And then you say, Charlie, I have Mr. Smith on the phone, and yeah, I'll take it from here. And then you get off the phone. It has video calling right here. It would have to be our own, real mobile to real mobile. Okay, the app lets you receive calls and send text, video calls and stuff worldwide. By the way, I will mention here that real mobile to real mobile calls are free worldwide, right? You can add features like, since I've mentioned it was a PBX system, you could add features like, for example, an extension. So although your user has a full 10-digit number, you could say, okay, he's 102. So you can call 102 and it connects to Bill, who's in Afghanistan at the moment, right? It's a direct call. Again, it's a multi-carrier SIM. Okay, and you have the Wi-Fi connection as well. You have all these features as well on the phone available to you, including call recording and call conferencing. Okay, next screen. Okay, so in summary, you can call your customers can call or text worldwide from they're generally in the United States. So anywhere in the world, they can call. If they roam anywhere in the world, the SIM will pick up the local carrier internet, and you have your local number. So if you have your 202 number and you call it and the person is here, it will ring here. Any call between these two guys, even conferencing these guys, is free. Okay. You can get you can easily conference and video, right? You can get an international phone number attached to your own number. So you have a 202 number or 404 number, but you want to offer this guy in London to make free calls. So we could give you a 44 country code number. So your local London guy, customer, dials a local London phone number and he reaches you over here, right? Again, we have the multi-carrier SIM connection. Okay, next, please. Okay, so at the core of this is a voice over IP PBX system. So you have all those functionalities at your disposal. You have the auto attendant. You can have multiple extensions. For example, let's use an example that you have, for example, FEMA. Okay, and then you create we can create an emergency dial-in number for Hurricane Milton. Okay, and you want to assign 5 people on your team of 50 to handle those calls. When the customer calls that number, all 5 calls, all 5 phones will ring wherever they are. All 5 phones will ring, and whoever answers the call gets the call. So that's that's a functionality of the PBX system, right? You have voicemail, you have music on hold, or you could have a message on hold. Thank you for calling. Transferring now to a Milton technician, okay, while the person presses 1 or 2 or something like that. We have the simultaneous ring, which means that you could have a phone in your office and it would ring automatically on your cell phone. We do have a desktop version, which is here, right? It looks exactly like that, and you could have that on your desktop and connect there. So you could have basically a virtual office. Obviously, call forwarding, simultaneous call transfers anywhere you are in the world. A voicemail on each extension. We offer unlimited US service. We could offer any kind of payment plans, pay as you go if you get a lower service. Usually on the international, what we offer is pay as you go, pay by the minute, pay by the megabyte on the roaming side. There's some options on that that I'll get to in a moment. So okay, let's international roaming, right, with soft phones. Connect anywhere between users for free, okay, on the mobile app or the desktop app, which is mobile, okay, and you have chat and SMS. Okay, so we have the next, okay. The real mobile to real mobile calls, hold it, go back, yeah, thanks. Real mobile to real mobile calls does not go through the public telephone network service. Okay, so by definition, there is that level of security. You are just on our circuit. So you are in the United States, you're in Atlanta, and you call somebody in Norway. That call goes through the internet, and it lands at our connection in Norway. So it does not go through the public telephone network system. So by definition, it has a level of security. Nevertheless, we can offer an additional encryption layer on that if that is of need or important. So it has a reliability and of course failover on services, on servers worldwide capable. Okay, next, please. Okay, so we have, again, for the multi-carrier SIM, which we have to have sort of a summary here, we have domestic and international voice, calling, texting. You have the video calls between real mobile, and of course you have data, both in the United States and worldwide. We have a seamless international roaming, in that the phone will connect to the strongest carrier. By the way, you can manually change that. So if you prefer a different carrier for various reasons, different carriers worldwide, although you may have options to it, would have different rates, right? That's what becomes available. So you may or may not want to do that. You may find that although your phone connected to this one carrier, it is hanging on, but it is not a great connection, and you could manually connect to another carrier. Right? You have the IoT, so you could connect our hardwired tri-part SIM to any device, and again, it would be the same services, internet only. We have this with the military running around the world with that service. We have Again, in the United States, unlimited talk, text, and data. You could have pay-as-you-go, which would be per minute or per megabyte. On the international and in the US, although we offer such a great price on the US, it's really not that worth it. But on the international, that might be an option for you. For example, it is a good option. You have people deployed to, let's say, the Middle East, let's say Israel right now. And Israel has a per minute price and it has a per megabyte usage. But you're going to have a lot of people there. And you're going to have people in Germany and you're going to have people in Belgium. So what you could do is you could bundle and you say, okay, let's take 10 gigabytes of service in Germany, 5 in Israel, and 3 in Norway. And we have 5,000 minutes on each of those things. So you bundle the package, you can pull it among all your people. And when they go into that area, in that territory, and connect to that carrier in, let's say, Germany, you're drawing down on that pool, on that bundle. So there's a 0 charge per minute on that until it expires. Nevertheless, real mobile to real mobile are free, so that does not tap into the pool. You can do chat, SMS, and you have full control features from an administrator standpoint and from an individual user on a web portal. So the administrator can see and restrict or open up or do whatever he wants with his individual users. He can see who they're calling. He could see what the data consumption is and where it is connected. And the individual user can go in to their own site, see their call data records. They could change their voicemail. They could switch their voicemail to, like, they're out of town. They could change their music on hold. They could change the message on hold. I think this is it. Let's see. Yeah, this is, let's go back. There's other features. There's other features that we can offer, but I didn't want to get into that right now. We have, toll free and different things like that. If there are questions, I may have talked a little fast. So if there are questions, please, we're open to hear. No questions. Okay.
Well, thank you, Robert, of Real Mobile. Again, as Robert stated, if there's questions, please feel free to put them in the Q&A pod, or you can respond directly to him once we issue out the slide presentation that he's shared with us today for later. Brings us to the end of our event. I would like to thank again those the industry partners that participated today, Michael from Newbridge Wireless and Robert from Real Mobile, and you, our guest audience, for attending this and providing the questions today. We appreciate you spending time with us, learning more about mobility solutions. We hope you enjoyed this session, and we hope you look forward to other sessions to come. Today's event will be posted, and you will receive a link in approximately 2 weeks in case you'd like to have a review, an opportunity to review it again, or recommend it to a colleague who did not have the opportunity to participate in today's event. We'll also send out slides from today to the email addresses that we use in order to register to participate today. You will receive a CLP in about a week. Please feel free to reach out to the wireless team at wireless@gsa.gov with any questions or comments you may have. And to learn more about our programs, please visit our website at gsa.gov/wireless. Thank you again, and we appreciate so much you participating in today's event, and we hope that you enjoyed the rest of your day. Thank you.